Hello, everyone. I am joined by a former opponent, a friend, a former world champion, uh, a two-sport professional, Lucas Browne. It's amazing to see you. It's been a long time. How have you
It's
been?
been a while. It has been a while.
How's retirement? How's the gym? How's everything going?
The gym's good. Retirement's a bit weird. What I've done is I stopped doing any cardio at all, and I was doing just weights. So 5 times a week weights, and I've blown out to 142 kilos. So yeah, I have to stop that.
Yeah, do you
so
miss, do you not miss the competing, the fighting? Do you not hit the bags? Do you not
um,
sparring?
Yes and no. I still do some sparring and body sparring with the classes and so on. So I'm still very much like involved in the boxing aspect. I've got a few fighters from my gym fighting now as well. So I'm sort of still there, but I'm not. I mean, I'm more in the background now.
So I just want to start off with our fight. I get a lot of people asking like the look. You were my greatest night. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
in the ring after the fight. I don't know if you remember what I said to you. Um, I said when you boxed Shagayev, you was master good for me, but I got you at the right
yeah,
time. I got you at the right
yeah,
time. Um,
yeah.
so during the fight, we'll just go through the fight. You were boxing my head off for 2 rounds.
I thought I was doing well. One thing that I remember is that you said, I'm not going to land an uppercut. And I landed many. So I was actually very happy with the way I was boxing. I didn't want to throw big power and waste myself away first. So I wanted to box, and I thought I was boxing quite well. I believe I was up on the scorecard as well,
Yeah.
so I was winning the fight. But the body shot was perfect.
I always wondered because like he was a massive puncher. I remember watching you in person at Ponds Forge when you won the
Yep.
Commonwealth. Um, I watched you watch Richard Towers. I watched most of your fights, and you was a pure
Yeah.
knock puncher. Um,
Yeah.
when I boxed you, like you was tipping and tapping, and I thought I was
Yes.
waiting for the big one. Was you like thinking it was going 12, so you was just boxing because that's how I felt at the time.
Because you're not a person that falls over. So yes, it was going to be one of those fights where I thought I've got to wait until later rounds before I start doing anything. So in my head, it was going to be 5, 6 rounds before I started doing anything, and that in that way as well, I could figure out different things and what worked, what didn't work, all that sort of stuff. So I was doing what I planned on doing, which is tip tap, but
Yeah.
win the fight at the same time.
It was such a relief to me because I remember thinking, if he starts hitting that, I am in big trouble because you couldn't miss.
Yeah.
I was thinking, oh, I'm so glad he's gone for these tactics because I'm trying to get him like you can't knock me out, because I'm thinking he can knock me out, but I need to tell him that he
Yeah,
can't. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's right, that's right.
I did always wonder if he was holding back the power, thinking it was going to go along. Yeah,
Yes, exactly right. But like looking at all your fights, you don't you're always there. You've got a great chin, so there's no point me trying to bang something away that isn't going to go away. So I thought let's actually box and get into a fight. Yeah.
because I always said to people he was very underestimated as a boxer. I couldn't
Mm.
believe because to look at you, you're just like a big, hard, strong man. Like you would just assume big puncher strong. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe how you don't even when you watch your movements don't look like that fluent, but when you're in there with them, your timing, I
Yeah.
was really, really surprised at your ability, really.
I call it, and I try and teach people this now. It's lazy heavyweight style. It's just enough. Just enough. That's all you got to do. You don't have to do like big movements. It's just enough to move out of the way. That's all.
So we're
Yeah.
going to the finish now, because obviously this is I don't want to go on about it too much, but the body
Yeah.
shot, I think that was the best shot I've ever landed ever in my whole life. Ever.
Well, let me ask you about that. Was that something that you planned or something that just came up?
I knew, obviously, the white fight, you got knocked out, but I knew how hard you were. I knew you were a really hard
Yeah.
bloke. And I'm not a
Yeah.
massive puncher either. So I thought, if I'm going to have any success, it has to be to the body, because I thought,
Yeah.
I knew I wouldn't hurt you to the head, because I wanted it hard enough, and you were a hard fella. So I wanted to hit you
Yeah,
in the body, but that shot, I could try that another billion times, and it's
that's right.
never going to happen ever again.
It was perfect. Yeah, yeah.
So how would you,
I
people that's never been hit to the
it,
body, how would you describe it?
it hit me, and basically your body just shut down. So straight on my hands and knees, the whole like that, the noise and everything else. And I looked at my corner, and they said, "Get up," and I went, "No." But the worst thing about all that is like the first. Oh shit! Sorry. The worst thing about all that was that 20 to 30 seconds later, I was completely fine.
Yeah.
Not a mark, not a bruise, not a hurt, nothing. But that's boxing, you know what I mean?
So after the fight, I remember you coming over. You were such a gent about it. Like that was my moment, and you was fine about it. And I said to you, when you boxed Ruslan Shagayev, you was better than me. So I knew you was coming like towards the end. This was my big
Yeah,
chance. You know, Eddie
yeah,
matched it because they wanted me to win. But so the Shagayev fight, we'll go back to that now because that was your best moment, WBA heavyweight champion
yeah,
of the world. Um,
yeah.
was that? Would you say that was the best? That was the best you ever was that night?
Well, I trained differently for that as well. I trained every day at my gym in Sydney. It was 12 rounds of footwork drills and then 12 rounds of pads
Yeah,
every day, no matter what. So mentality was different. I knew I had to move. He was a lefty, so I didn't want to stay in the pocket with a lefty.
yeah,
And for me, it was a different mindset. So coming to your fight, it wasn't about that. It was about like staying more in the pocket, but without getting hit
yeah.
as much. So I didn't think about the movement side with you, where I definitely thought about it with Shigeo. So it was something that I did work on, and it worked out well, obviously. So it was just a matter of what we worked on before the actual fight. Yeah.
What was that feeling like though, winning that like WBA title? Like what would you liken it to? How would you describe it looking back now?
Well, unfortunately, it was in Chechnya, so it wasn't exactly a celebration. But it was the best, man. Like I've watched, for example, Creed, the movie Creed, and Buffer calls out, and the heavyweight championship. He's done that for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, no one can take that off me.
yeah.
I've got footage of Buffer calling that out, and it's the best in the world. It's the best feeling. No one in Australia can say that. They've never had that feeling. So it was supposed to be the biggest stepping stone for me because my next fight, if I won, was Klitschko.
Yeah.
So for me, that was the biggest thing ever. Unfortunately, the drugs bullshit come out and it derailed everything.
So what after the Shagayev fight? What obviously we all know what happened. What
Yeah.
was it? How long did it take? The Klitschko fight obviously never happened. What actually and what did happen after that?
It was such a long process. It went through court and everything. So I had a lie detector test. I had hair follicle sample test. I had everything.
Where was
So
the hair follicles found from?
underarms.
Right.
Now, and because of that, I got off and then was given the title back.
Yeah.
Then, unfortunately, the next stupid thing happened for me. I was supposed to fight Cannon Briggs
Yeah.
for the WA title again. And I went to the shop and got a pre-workout, and it was a shit one. So I got done for a pre-workout, and that got called off. So that was my fault. No one to blame for that. But yeah, my dumbass just got the pre-workout.
So Shagayev, would you say Shagayev was the best you faced? I know you had defeats, but would you say even though you beat him, he was the best because of the time you fought him, that was the best version of yourself?
Yeah, yeah, and being a lefty is probably the second time I'd ever faced a lefty,
Yeah.
and he was obviously very good at what he did. When he knocked me down because he went down and sort of faked a body shot, which I was watching, and he comes straight over the top, and that's what knocked me. So, funnily enough, the left hand is what Dillian White got me with as well. So
Yeah.
maybe there's something wrong with this side, maybe.
Yeah. So would you say obviously Shagayev isn't like he's not recognized as people don't a lot of people wouldn't know who he was. People watching this new
No.
boxing fans. Would you say at that time Shaggy was better than the white U box, but you probably had slipped at that point, or he was out of shape, or whatever?
Two things happened with the white fight. I wasn't in the shape that I should have been,
Yeah,
but he was in the best conditioning of his life, I believe.
yeah,
And I don't know if you felt the same, but like coming up against me, you know you have to be ready.
yeah,
And I think White did everything possible to be ready for me, and rightly so. But I wasn't in the condition I should have been. No.
yeah. So White and Shaggy have apart. Who else? Who else is your box that you was impressed by? Jarrell Miller, your box. Richard Towers, I thought was one of the biggest punchers I ever shared a ring with. So these
Yeah.
guys, who else? Who else would you say was up there?
You know what? Richard Towers didn't really bother me. I think if this is my opinion, and it won't really sound all that good for Richard, but his was more mental. I had to sort of break him mentally, and then it was done. So the moment I did, I hit him with a shot, and you see in his eyes he wasn't the same, and I just jumped on it.
Yeah,
So Towers wasn't as big of a challenge, but it's definitely a name, obviously.
yeah.
I loved the Miller fight. I know it was like one of the last ones, and yes, I lost, but it was 3 rounds each, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. I really liked that fight.
What do you
Yeah,
think to him? Is he a big puncher? Is he just big and strong, or
but he's just fucking massive.
yeah,
Like I fought him at 151 kilos. Like that's a big boy,
yeah,
and I punch hard. I was hitting him hard. He didn't have a mark on his face.
yeah.
I had a few cuts and was bruised, but like he didn't have a mark on his face, and that really bothered me.
Yeah. So looking at your boxing career, obviously we've gone through all the names you've boxed, but
Yep.
you also faced Daniel Cormier, I believe.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Technically,
Is he the best fighter you've ever fought? In any, like obviously boxing MMA is different, but is he like the number one athlete, the strongest?
from, without a doubt, from a wrestling point of view, yes.
Yeah,
I was supposed to fight his gym mate, whose name was Mike Kyle. Now he was a 6'4" stand-up fighter, and he pulled out 3 days before, and they put Cormier in. So rather than me sort of say, "Oh no, I'm not going to fight," I just said, "Yeah, why not?" You know. So I'd already sold all the tables and tickets. It was still for world title. It's just the fact that he was a two-time Olympic wrestler and really, he did a job on me wrestling wise.
yeah,
I was punching him, he was punching me, but he cut me across the eyebrow, and I ended up having 13 stitches all up,
yeah.
and I just couldn't see what was going on. So he just belted me, and the ref stopped it, and thankfully so.
So with Cormier, like obviously he's a wrestler. That's his
Yeah.
main skill set. Could he box? Could he punch or just a wrestler?
Well, I threw a jab, and he didn't even see it. And from that, he took me straight down because he knew his strength. Me being taller, longer as well, wouldn't have been good for him.
Yeah.
So he just took me down and kept taking me down. Now I'm a big, strong guy, but that wrestling technique is something totally different, and he just dominated me with that.
So how much MMA training had you actually done? Like, was you the jiu-jitsu, the wrestling, or was you just a boxer really?
It was like it was MMA training, so it wasn't specifically this or specifically that. It was just MMA training. It was probably a year and a half at that point. So yeah, I knew what I was doing, and all my fights prior were just boxing. Like I like to stand and punch,
Yeah.
maybe some elbows, but there was no kicking, no knees, no nothing. Just stand and punch, and that's what I like to do. Unfortunately, he was the opposite.
So pre-professional boxing, did you do amateur boxing or was it just the MMA back
No,
then?
nothing,
Straight into
nothing.
boxing.
First fight, first thing I ever did was jump in a cage. First fight was a cage.
At what age though? Because you turned pro late, so the whole fighting thing in general was
30,
yeah.
30 years old. Yeah, so from 30 to 32 was the MMA career, and from 32 onwards was boxing.
When you think about it, then really a very mad, really, that isn't it?
People don't actually look at that and realize, no, people think I've been boxing all my life. And what, 32 full-time boxing, and 36 or 37, I was world champ. You know what I mean? And it's just unheard of.
So what were you doing before to 30? What was you doing till then?
I got married and had my first child at 19.
Yeah.
I got 3 kids with my ex-wife. So basically, I was just a father and working my ass off 70 hours a week.
So you wasn't doing any training for boxing or nothing till
Nah,
30?
I was doing security, so I was
Fighting
technically I was punching people, but not officially. No.
I never knew that. I knew he was a late starter as a pro, but I didn't realize you'd never.
Yeah. So I had one fight in 09, one fight in 2010 as a boxer, but from as I said 32, so it was 2011 full-time boxing. Yeah, but nothing prior to that.
I didn't know. That's crazy, really.
Yeah.
More impressive now. I know that. That's really impressive.
Imagine I started earlier. You know what I mean?
It's a tough game to. I thought I started late at 18. Never mind. I'm only just turned 30.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So the last thing I want to talk about is you sparred all the best. Fury.
Yeah.
Who do you think was the best you ever shared a ring with?
See, there's a lot of different things for different reasons. In the MMA aspect, I shared a ring with Mark Hunt.
Yeah.
So from a puncher, and I hit him with everything, and he looked at me and smiled, and then went bang. You know what I mean? Like, it hit me the hardest I've ever been hit in my life.
Mark's going to hit you harder than all of the top class pros.
Yep, without a doubt. Straight in the forehead, and I went, wow.
Yeah.
So, like, Dillian White was more accumulation of punches.
Yeah.
I just stood there like a dumbass and got hit.
Yeah.
Where the fight I look at the most is one of my hardest fights was a guy by the name of Rudenko.
Yeah.
It was in the UK. He was Ukrainian and just a tough nut. We went 12 rounds and just punched the fuck out of each other for 12 rounds. Like, I had skin off my knuckles under my wraps. So that's how much we hit each other. So Rudenko was one of my toughest fights ever.
He's watching Johnny Fisher next as well.
Ah, that's all right. Okay.
Yeah, they were scheduled.
Yeah, nice.
I thought it was a decent test. I know he's not the same fighter that you fought, but
yeah.
Tough guy. I think he took Zhang 10 rounds as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, he's he's a very hard man.
Yeah. So now, moving forward, what's the plan now for you? Are you involved in boxing or just doing the gym? And
well, it's a boxing fitness gym, so it's a bit of for everyone. So mums come in and everyone. But I have started with fighters. I will help fighters if they want. So we've got 2 guys turning pro this year. They've had 2 exhibition fights previously, but they're turning pro very soon. So it might be a different angle, but yeah, I'm still involved in the boxing. I often think, could I, would I come back? But I think, nah, I'll be right.
Could you come back at your age now? Would you get a license in Australia, or how does that work over there? What's the
in Australia, I would, I think, yeah, for sure. I was also thinking of bare knuckle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I cut like a bitch and I'll probably break my hand.
Yeah.
So I keep thinking, I should, but probably not. You know what I mean? I've had a great run. I've had a great career. I've traveled the world. I've seen and met many people. The only thing I haven't got is the millions of dollars to go with it.
No, I really appreciate having you on. You was fantastic when we boxed.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was fortunate enough to. Obviously talking to you, and I can't believe we even boxed. You know, it's mad to like.
May I just say, I know. Obviously, I lost the fight, but you are the only person I've ever stood next to, and obviously they raised your hand, not mine, and I had a proud moment for you.
Yeah,
it's the weirdest experience I've ever had in my life because I should be so down that I lost, but then at the same time, I could see you in your moment. I think you're a top fella, and I thought, wow, how great is that for this guy? You know what I mean? And you deserve it. So I've always kept that for me, that was the best part of our fight, was the fact that I felt so good after it for you, and I've never felt that about anyone.
No, I
So
really, I appreciate you. I appreciate everything. You like the fight with you just, gave me everything, and you were so good about it.
excellent.
And like giving me time now, I'm very grateful. And obviously, because you like got a few years on me, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I still, Mr. Browne this, Mr. Browne that. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah, no.
yeah. So no, I really appreciate your time, and it's been amazing to catch up with you.
Awesome, man. No, thank you very much. Thank you for sharing the ring with me, and keep up the good work, bro.
Appreciate that. Thank you.